Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you? It is Thursday already. Did the week go as fast for you as it went for me? It feels like a blink. And here we are. So happy Thursday morning. As you know, every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, and some other 8 a.m., I guess, Pacific. I do a little educational presentation. And today we're going to talk about therapies versus protocols. And so I know that some of you are already very familiar with this, and some of you, this is new. so I just wanted to share that about therapies and protocols because these are tools that can help your autistic child thrive. So let's go over today's agenda first. First, I'm going to give you a brief definition of therapies and protocols, what they are and why they are different and why that matters. Then I'm going to share with you some examples of common types of therapies, such as speech, occupational, ABA, and then we're going to explore common protocols like biomed, homeopathy, diet, etc. And then go over briefly how to choose what's right for your child. Then we're going to have a recap and next steps. So if you are interested in this and interested in learning more and thinking about selecting some of these tools to help your child, I have an availability for 3 complimentary calls next week. And during these calls, we work together on a problem, and the goal is to determine how we actually work together, and then we'll have a good feeling about working together after that. And I will actually concretely, it's about 30-40 minute call, concretely go through the steps of helping you solve a current problem you are having with your autistic child. So let's get started. So again, there's 2 different tools available to help your child. And the first one is therapies. So therapies work on your child's skills and behavior. They focus on teaching skills and supporting behavior, positive behavior, and expressive communication. And some examples include speech and gestalt language processing, so those build communication pathways for your child. Occupational therapy, which can improve sensory regulation and daily living. And then one that a lot of you are going to be very familiar with, if you have your child in a regular school on IEP, you will probably have ABA. This is structured behavior modification. It is controversial. We have had it in our schools. It's mostly been effective for our child. I have heard people absolutely hate it, people absolutely love it. I think the biggest thing with ABA is to make sure that your provider is doing it in a way that respects your child and presumes competence, that your child is competent. Just because a child cannot speak doesn't mean they are not intelligent or is nonverbal or partially verbal or non-conversational. It doesn't mean your child is not intelligent. And so as long as the provider is understanding of your child, respectful, and uses ABA in a proper manner with deference to your child's deference to respect for your child and your wishes, it can be useful and helpful. So these are some examples of therapies. Now, what you want to think of therapies are like working from the inside out. So they're teaching or they're building scaffolding to help your child get to the next level. And they involve practitioners coming to you and working with your child. So it's outside in. Another therapy or skill in behavior might be, for example, very popular spell to communicate, which I'm hearing amazing things from everyone I know doing it. Another difference with therapies is a lot of therapies, traditional therapies like speech therapy and ABA and OT, are normally going to be covered or covered by insurance. as long as they are traditional. Spell to communicate will not be, but as long as they're traditional, they will be offered by your school without charge, as long as you have an IEP in place, or they will be cost effective or covered by insurance. Like therapies, a lot of times can be covered by insurance even if you go outside the school. Okay, so then we, contrasting to therapies, we have protocols. Now, protocols are more of a health and wellness approach. So they focus on the body and biology, biochemistry, the physics of the body, and the environment. And so some examples I'm going to give you are biomed. Biomedical healing includes healing the gut, balancing the gut microbiomes, addressing inflammation, and normally biomed is done primarily with supplements. And so it's none of these protocols are not normally covered by insurance at all, just so you know that this is all out-of-pocket stuff. There's also homeopathy and herbal remedies. These are natural remedies that are tailored to your child's unique constitution. And so one of the great things about protocols is that they bio-individually target your child and the specific challenges they are going through. And so I just want to take a little sidebar here. And as you know, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is coming out next month and giving some causes of autism. I probably am going to agree with whatever he says, but I have a little bit different spin on it because my child was born with certain challenges and issues, and yet over the years we could see how her environment impacted her, and using protocols did help her. So while I believe my daughter had a genetic component, my daughter also definitely had an environmental component that triggered her autism, in my opinion. And I say this because I think when you're trying to figure out what caused your child's autism in order to zero in on targeting how to help him or her, you're also going to be looking for a needle in a haystack. Like, what exactly is improperly functioning in the brain that is causing something like a small pile of blocks falling over, of baby blocks falling over, to cause her to scream because it's excruciating pain to her ears? What is causing her to scream when you put fabric or sleeves on her? So these kinds of dysregulation type problems do have something in the body, and something like biomed, homeopathy, herbalism, these are protocols that can help your child. Energy healing is one that is really taking off right now, and energy healing might be something like red light therapy. It might be something, some other kinds of therapies that involve tools connecting to your child. There might be, like I've told you, we are using the herbal, it's not an herbal spray. It's a spray that cleanses the blood, but it does involve frequencies. I know I talked about frequencies yesterday. Frequencies, again, that's a science thing. That's a physics thing. So, another protocol is a clean diet. For example, gluten-free, casein-free, soy-free, sugar-free, GFCF, SF, SF diet. But there's other diets as well. If you want to go deep into diets, like oxalates are often a problem, siliciates are a problem. I know if you listened to my video with homeopath Jess Galligani the other day, we talked about oxalates and siliciates and how they can be harmful to autistic children. But if you really want to dive deep, I recommend Julie Matthews at Nourishing Nourishing Health. Anyway, she's Julie Matthews. She has a two books out right now. She just released a book on how to feed your child who has autism or ADHD. And she does have a course, which I took, an amazing course. So that's clean diet it's a protocol if you're targeting it. A very good clean diet that works for us very well is GAPS. GAPS has actually like a 4 or 6 week lead up to full GAPS. We just put our daughter on full GAPS, and I have some information on GAPS diet if you would like. I wrote a couple of blog posts about it. So those are protocols. Protocols work from the inside out. So you're addressing the child's underlying health challenges, and you're working with a therapy, a supplement, a spray, a red light therapy, something like that, that will help to heal them. And usually when you're talking about the diets, the clean diets, that is how do I explain this? That is something you do. It depends on the diet, right? GAPS is really unsustainable for life. Low oxalates and low siliciates are because most foods have some oxalates, for example. That's a ebb and flow of what are you eating today, what are you eating tomorrow, where are you eating. Another protocol is detoxing your environment. Remember, I said protocols focus on body, biology, biochemistry, and on environment. So detoxing your environment, that would be things like purifying your water and removing the fluoride, purifying your products, making sure they are non-toxic and third-party tested, because you can't trust that. So we use clean products. We have a Berkey with a gravity. We don't use Berkey filters. They're not good. With a gravity filter. We are looking into whole home purification. There is also air purification. We haven't done that. That might be our next thing. Making sure that you're not using glyphosate on your lawn, non-toxic lawn care, avoiding pesticides. So all those, cleaning the child's environment. This is actually relates to something called terrain theory, but that's a whole nother video. You can look up terrain theory in the meantime. It's basically like you have a goldfish, and something's wrong with the goldfish, and traditional medicine would tell you to take the goldfish out of the tank and care for give the goldfish medicine. But meanwhile, if you've got dirt and fungus and fungi and spectacles of dirt and things floating around in there that are no good, you haven't cleaned the tank in ages, right? That's going to make your goldfish sick. So if you just give your goldfish medicine without cleaning the tank, that's not going to do anything. So what you want to do is you want to clean the environment just as you would if you had a fish tank. You would clean it regularly, same kind of deal. So that is detoxing your environment. So I believe personally that the parents that have the best luck helping their autistic children thrive and succeed and hit milestones and goals and make progress in their ability to interact with others, to communicate, to relieve some of the inflammation and the pain and stress that it causes them. They should integrate both these approaches. You don't have to choose one or the other. Many families use a blend. The key is to listening to your child's cues and also to trust your instincts. Now, with protocols, on top of that, you can also do testing like an OAT test, OAT test. These I do recommend, but they are very expensive. I would like to get one for my daughter. We gotta be saving up. And an OAT test, you might need I think you can do them on your own. I haven't done one in so long. I have to look up to see if the rules have changed. So an OAT test is going to tell you things like, does your child have candida or other gut issues? Is there inflammation? It's going to really give you a rundown of their gut and what is going on inside their bodies. So you can do that and send your child to OT and speech therapy and spell to communicate and try biomed or try homeopathy. It's kind of, you really have to go out there and hunt and peck for things that are working. And you also, even if you're doing a special diet, you normally need to give it some time. You can't just go, well, we're 2 weeks in and this isn't working. Your child probably has a lot of toxin buildup. And conversely, if they're working on a therapy, they need to build trust with whoever they're working with, and so these things take time. They don't happen overnight. So that's why it's important to listen to your child's cues, but also trust your instincts and kind of look at all the information. So you want to ask yourself, is this therapy building my child's skills or not? Remember last time when I talked about the IEP, you want to have your people graph progress so that you can see if your progress is going up, staying straight, or if there's something going on where your child's skills are actually being lost. Is this protocol supporting their health? Do they seem to be doing better? A really good way to know if your protocol is working is a lot of our kids struggle with eczema. Eczema is internal, right? You're never going to just throw a topical, although we did have that happen with Dream Cream. We did one time throw a topical cream on Zoe and got rid of her. She had quarter-sized splotches, red splotches on her body when she was little. And no, not when she was little. 5 years ago, I started with Pure Haven, so it had to be like 5 years ago. And I freaked out, and I used the Dream Cream on them, and they just went away overnight. Within 2 days, they were completely gone. Normally, but that's not normal. Normally, anything that's going on their skin is coming from inside. And so if your child has bumps on their arm, that's eczema. Bumps on the back of their legs, that's eczema. And normally, a lot of times, eczema is tied to food. So you might want to try a dietary intervention, or you might want to try some kind of remedy to help heal. So you will know, is the protocol supporting their health? And if you see their eczema reducing or getting less angry, then you know you're on a good track. But I think a really important thing as well, when you're deciding with therapies, and not just therapies, but also protocols, either one, does it align with your values? Does it align with your budget? This is important. So as a Christian, I believe that if God is closing a door in your face, like, you do not have the money for it, and you won't have the money for it unless you lost your home and couldn't pay rent anymore, couldn't pay your mortgage anymore, and lived on the street, right? No, God doesn't want that for you. So you do have to have the budget. Like I talked about the O test, last time I took it, it was over $300, right? So, and that's completely out of pocket and per child. So, and that's just one test, right? So does it align with your budget, but also does it align with your values? I was hard pressed to go into certain types of, I actually took a protocol one time, bought the package, thought it was reasonable. It was supposed to be for adults, young teens, any age child on autism. It was supposed to be incredibly effective. Started the first week, and right out of the gate was something that conflicted with my faith. And so I returned everything. I got my money back. So does it align with your values? Like, if you have had a negative experience with the ABA and you think it's harmful, it doesn't align with your values anymore. So don't do that particular, even if it's being shoved at you, like, we must do this. Don't don't do anything that your heart and soul is telling you this is not right, because it's not going to work, or it's going to work and it's going to do some other kind of harm in the meanwhile. You know, one time we got a particular protocol that many people at the time was all the rage. And that's the thing, protocols, everything will be in fashion or not in fashion. This happens quite a lot with protocols. So we're using a protocol that was fashionable at the time, and I got a sample or whatever, a sample bottle, and the minute I used it on my daughter, like, the changes were instantaneous. And then I did some research on the actual product, and so there was a lot of controversy um, about the safety of the product, about the particular company and their particular style, and I wasn't comfortable using it. And so, due to because it wasn't cheap, I got a free bottle, but the actual it wasn't it wasn't cost effective. So I was like, okay. And then I found out there was a competitor that was doing all the clean things, and we tried the competitor, and nothing happened. And again, yes, we used it for like 2 months, and nothing happened. So I'm like, okay. For me, it's really important to understand the product and understand the process that went through the product. So, like the protocol we are on now, I have listened to a person that I trust very much about clean products and went through all the took a look and talked to her about the actual research behind it and what it was created for and how long it's been in business and how it's only been it wasn't created to be MLM. um, there's a lot of opinions on MLMs. I think MLMs are great. I think they have some of the best products in the world. But if you're creating something to be an LMM, it's a little bit different than taking a long time product and saying, the best way we're going to distribute this in the States is through MLM. So this is two different approaches, right? So just remember that whatever you're doing for your child, it needs to align with your budget, your beliefs, your child's needs, your values, everything. So, okay, just a quick recap. Therapies. So there's therapies and protocols. Therapies are skill building, communication, daily functions, things like that. They are from the outside in. Your school is going to provide you only therapies and only check marked by only things that really like the NEA approve of, right? So not spelled to communicate or RPM, you won't get any of those, but only long-term approved therapies, which have pros and cons in and of themselves. Protocols, on the other hand, are health, they're physical, medical, biological interventions. They are involved with the environment and its impact on your body internally. These are inside out. So you're fixing the inside things to get outside results. So it's exactly the flip of a therapy. And integration, the most powerful approach is combining both with wisdom and discernment. As a Christian, I think, if you're a Christian, you need to be praying about what is the right protocol for my child, and what is the right therapy for my child, what is the right place to educate my child that will supply certain therapies. Or maybe the place where your child needs to be educated won't provide therapies. That's an option too. Education is a whole other element that can interact with these. And if you're in a very intense protocol, which I don't recommend, because the more intense the protocol, the more stress on you and your child. That stress in you boils down to every other family member. So always remember that. But you might need to homeschool in order to enact certain kinds of therapies. So that's another consideration. So again, if you are interested in this and interested in learning more, I just wanted to let you know that I do have 3 spots open next week for a complimentary call where we work together for a problem. And then again, the goal there is we determine how we work together. And then we can have a good feeling if you would like to proceed ahead. So let me know if you are interested in a comp call. Just drop a hashtag comp below, or say me, or below in the comments. And that's it. So parenting your child, it's overwhelming, right? It's overwhelming. And I know many of you have multiple children with autism. 2 or 3, or you have a child, you have kids with typical needs, and then you have a child with autism. I have a child with autism and a child with Down syndrome, and they're night and day. But you don't have to do it alone. So in this group, We are here to share resources. I am also here to answer your questions. So please put questions in the group if you have them. Use the anonymous button if you prefer. DM me. You can DM me anytime. But think about taking advantage of that comp call. You will, at the worst, you can come out of it with 30, 40 minutes of a solution to a problem to help your child. Okay. Thank you so much for listening today. Drop any questions below. Hashtag comp, C-O-M-P, if you want to call or just say me or just do a little hand raise. And I'll give you a shout out and give you the details. So thank you for joining, and I hope you have a great day.